name is Lisa Bain. Welcome to Treasure Talks. I would love for you to take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit the doorbell so you get notifications about our new videos and content. It has been a joy to meet some incredible heroes over the years through my nonprofit work. Our community is filled with heroes who have such incredible and miraculous stories. These stories need to be heard. These heroes have found treasure in the darkest days of their lives, and they are using it to help others and bring hope to those in our community. Every month, we will spotlight a new story as you meet these community heroes and we chat one-on-one. So stay tuned and be ready to be encouraged and inspired by these community treasures. It's time for Treasure Talks. Welcome to Treasure Talks. I am so excited to have you here today with us, and I'm really excited about our amazing guest. Oh, I'm so excited. I love this woman. Her name is Linda Pulver, and I want to tell you a little bit about Linda. When I think about Linda, the first word that I think of is light. She is truly a light in our community, and I want to tell you a little bit about her nonprofit that she started, or rather she's going to tell you, but it's called Hope is Oxygen. You understand those hurting hearts and feelings of hopelessness because you have walked through
absolutely
so much. I mean, from accidents, divorce, suicide attempts, deaths with your extended family.
Yes.
You've walked it. You've been
Yes.
there. Since founding Hope is Oxygen in 2017, how is that possible? You and your amazing volunteers, those amazing volunteers, have distributed over 30,000 hope packs and many other hope material resources that have gone state, local, national.
Yes.
Hope is Oxygen also partner with grief support centers to provide boxes of hope to families who have lost a loved one to suicide or a drug overdose. You believe that together we are stronger and that together we can be ambassadors of hope and save lives in this beautiful yet broken world.
So
and you
true.
know, Linda, when I read this last paragraph, I thought about what my mom said about completing and not competing. And you walk that out. And we were just talking about the partnerships that make these wonderful in a greater way.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. And I want to just share with you that when we first started out in 2017 and we were just a little baby nonprofit, I was really scared. It was a scary endeavor for me. And coming to you and sharing with you what we had done at Joy in the Cause, that was really probably the biggest contact we had at that time. And you really, God used you as an encouragement for me to help me to believe in what our cause was, what our mission was. You spurred me on, you encouraged me. And actually we have our teen hope packs because of you, because you said, you know what, it would be amazing to put these in our backpacks for teenagers. Can you make us some that are shorter verses? And that really spurred me on to go ahead and do that, and really helped me to believe in what we were doing at a time when I was really filled with a lot of fear and doubt.
Wow.
It made
Starting a
difference.
nonprofit can do that to you.
Yes. I never started out thinking in my life I would be running a nonprofit. I never thought that.
I tell you, when God wants something to happen, He
It's
makes it
gonna
happen.
happen.
Take us back
Okay.
to how this all started.
Okay. Well, really the foundation for Hope is Oxygen probably I would say began in college. And when I was 23 in college, I was a senior. And on the outside, everything looked great for me. I was well known on campus. I was a top 10 senior. If you would have seen me, you would have thought, you know what, she has everything together. But actually, my world was falling apart. And what most people did not know about me is that my brother had been kicked out of 2 states, my oldest brother, for burglary. And he was going deeper and deeper into his drug addiction. As a result of that, my senior year, my parents were going through a very, very bitter divorce. My sister had major back surgery, and my boyfriend of the last 4 years had broken up with me. So all of these, in this perfect, so-called perfect life that I looked like I had, it wasn't, and I was falling apart. At that time, a friend knew that I was hurting. She invited me to a Bible study. And in that Bible study, she introduced me to the Navigator's pack. And I brought that with me because I have carried this for the past, since I was a senior in college. So over 40 years. This was the first time I became familiar with Bible verses that would fill my heart. Really, I never had really a strong relationship with the Lord. And these Bible verses gave me so much hope and courage in my broken heart. They stitched my heart back together again. One of my favorite verses was Matthew 11:28 that said, "Come to me, all who are burdened and I will give you rest. And I felt as that senior in college so burdened. I didn't think anybody could understand what I was going through, and I realized God does, and He's with me through it. So that was probably the foundation of where it all started. Then if you pan forward throughout my young adult life, my brother that was the drug addict, he ended up being high on a icy road in Tulsa and was hit by a truck, dragged 500 feet and life flighted to Hillcrest. He died 10 days later. We had the opportunity to share the gospel with him every day. And we believe that he is in heaven and at peace. For the first time in his life, he had struggled with drugs since he was 13. So 17 years struggle with abusing drug and alcohol and just not being able to get out of that cycle. And so we do believe he finally found peace during that time. And then after that, his wife was so sad that she attempted suicide. And I was only in my mid-20s, Lisa. I felt so ill-equipped for that. And I still remember going into the hospital to see her. She called me to go, and I dropped to the floor sobbing. I couldn't handle it. But God gave me, again, the hope and the courage to get through that. We helped her 2 children. We helped them that summer live with us while she recovered. And then she was later found dead of an overdose in a hotel room in Tulsa, in downtown Tulsa. And so God helped us through that. My mother and father, after the divorce, it was a bitter divorce, but we prayed for 25 years for their relationship to be restored. And do you know that before they both died, their relationship was restored? They became friends again.
Wow.
That was such a miracle that we saw. Through all of these things, God held me together with hope and with His word, His promises that He was with me and that He would always be with me no matter what we went through. So,
I love that. I love it. And this is what they look like now.
That's
and
what
I love
yes.
these. And I always have like verses in my shoe and in my
love
pocket.
it.
I want to know
it.
how you got the name Hope is Oxygen and how this all began.
Okay. So what happened is, as a result of we often find that what we're called to is from the pain that we've gone through.
You find treasure in the darkness.
We do. And because as a result of my brother's death and understanding the pain of children that lose their parents, my nephew lost both his mother and his father because she had died 15 years later after my brother died, but he had lost both of his parents due to drugs. And so I understood the pain that they went through. It gave me a microphone to share with children. So I started in Celebrate Recovery for 6 years. I would share with the children. I was the director there at Celebrate Recovery for the children whose parents would come and try to get healing from addiction, from their habits, hang-ups, the things that they were going through. I had that privilege for 6 years, and we would have 50 to 100 children every Saturday night that we would minister to. We would teach them how to grieve. We would teach them how to make choices that were good choices. Teach them that even though they had gone through hard times, that didn't mean that their future had to be that way, that they could live an abundant life. And those were messages that those children needed to hear. And we just had a blast with them. Well, we would give them gifts when they would come for the first time. And one of the gifts I decided to give them were Bible verses in a little pack. And so that was my prototype. We had women that were older women that would sew our little hope packs, and I would fill them with typewritten verses and give them to them. And then I started thinking, I wish I could give these to people on a larger scale. And so I went out on a limb in 2017 and I ordered my first 1,000 hope packs. And the reason I came up with Hope is Oxygen is Billy Graham is one of my favorite, he's a hero of the faith. And one of the phrases that he would always say is, what oxygen is for the lungs, so hope is for our soul. We simply cannot live without it.
I love that.
And that really is how I came up with the name. I had also read somewhere in the Air Force Survival School, when they're teaching their cadets how to survive in tough situations, they talk about how that you can last, it's called the survival rule of threes. You can last 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water. You can last 3 hours without shelter in a really inhospitable climate. You can last 3 minutes without oxygen, but you cannot last 3 seconds without hope.
Wow.
And so that really hit me too, that, I needed to name it Hope is Oxygen. And
I
then
love that
went from
so
there.
much. And I remember that in those beginning stages. And so the mission then is really to bring hope to those that are
Absolutely.
walking and facing suicide in that dark place.
Well, it is and it's not. My sister asked me when we first began, who is your market? We're both
Yes.
big into I'm a marketing, that was my degree. She goes, who is your market? I said, everyone. Because I really believe, Lisa, that we're all one phone call, one text, one email away from losing hope. So it is to
Absolutely.
those that would be contemplating suicide, yes. But the reason why I've chose to partner with nonprofits all across the nation now is because I believe whether it's you're dealing with illness, we talked about my brother having glioblastoma and just very, very difficult cancer diagnosis, or my brother, just people that are struggling with drug addiction, people that are struggling with divorce, that have been widowed. All of those people are at risk for losing hope. And that was why we decided we want to partner with nonprofits
Oh,
and
absolutely.
always give away.
And as you're sitting there talking, I remember when I first had to tell my mom she was filled with cancer and just tell her all that bad news. And she looked at me and she said, Lisa, giving equals joy, joy equals hope, but hope equals healing.
Wow.
And without hope. And that was what so much of what I'm doing today is based on is that hope. As you know, when you give someone hope,
Yes.
you can give them healing.
It's so true.
And it's
so true.
So true. And so tell me about your hope boxes, which I'm going to show. In fact, you were gracious enough because I recently dealt with a really difficult situation with an extended family member. And you brought me a hope box, which we're going to show. Tell me about those hope boxes.
Okay.
And how you partner with other organizations.
Okay.
And you've got exciting news about some national partnerships. I want to hear about it.
Okay. So what happened when my brother was diagnosed with glioblastoma, that first winter was very difficult for all of us because we knew usually their life expectancy is not very long. And so we wanted to give him something special for Christmas. Hope Heals is a national ministry. We actually nominated our brother, and he was given a hope box by Hope Heals for his diagnosis and just to give him comfort. That gave us the idea of the boxes of hope, that when somebody takes their life by suicide or by overdose, the grief that family experiences, the American Psychiatric Association says it is on the same level as a concentration camp survivor. It's so multi-layered. It's so complex. The guilt, the anger, the anguish, and it goes on. You live with it, but the pain is very excruciating. And oftentimes, those survivors of suicide will then take their life or self-medicate. We see that very often. And so our goal in giving the boxes of hope is that these families that have recently lost a loved one, that they will hold on to hope, that they would not take their life, that they would not fall into self-medicating through drugs or alcohol or whatever addiction, that they would be able to get through it. We want to remind them of hope. We always include resources, local resources, if they live here. Most of the we've given about 130 boxes away since we started last October.
And I mean, they are just full of the most amazing
and we've
things.
actually added since this, we've got a holding pillow that a mother that lost her son to overdose this year and a daughter-in-law to overdose. So she's helping raise her granddaughter. Her healing is coming through helping sew these pillowcases.
Of course,
and we
serving, stepping out.
Yes.
Miracles.
So now we've added the holding pillow. So that's not going to be in the box today, but that is our newest addition. And I think we've got some of the best volunteers in the world because they are volunteering out of their heartache, and it means something. We have 3 notes that are in the boxes that we give out. They're all from people that have lost loved ones.
That touched my heart.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, serving. When you're going through a really dark place, the one thing that my mom said was just take the first step. God will help you take the rest.
Yes.
And that first step with me has always been serving, giving it.
Yes.
And, when I look at this box and I even think about, the things that are sewn in our backpacks, and it's the people's place of healing to be able to give out of their pain.
Absolutely, no doubt.
It just works.
It does.
And it gets you outside of your box comfort
Yes.
zone, out of
Yes.
that place, and helps you be able to give. And they're
So
beautiful.
true.
They're
Thank
absolutely
you. Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you so
And
much.
I love these. I carry mine
Thank
everywhere.
you.
I carry
And we're so excited because now we have green ones that are for teens and
Woo, woo.
and orange for little children
For the
that
little
are now
kids.
going into North Tulsa through Tulsa Youth Works, going to
Yes.
the homeless shelters, through Comfort Canines. When they make their visits, they have the Orange Hope Packs. So
Oh, I
I'm excited
love
to see where the
that.
orange
I'm
ones
going
are
to
going to
have to
go.
get some of those
Yeah,
for our
I
therapy
brought
dog.
some. I brought
Woo,
some for you.
yay.
Yeah, I've got
Okay,
'em.
tell me about how this pandemic has affected your organization.
I know that a lot of nonprofits have struggled. I've read that. For us, it has absolutely exploded our growth. And I say that in a somber way and also an excited way, because I think never before in the history of our nation and actually in the world have people been more cognizant of their need for hope. We all need hope. We just didn't know we needed it. I mean, people just did not realize how powerful of a life force that it is.
We're isolated. We were
Yes.
isolated.
So when people were isolated, we were able to get those hope packs and art therapy coloring books into nursing homes, police departments, the U.S. military, Oklahoma State University. We partnered with their top leadership to distribute over 10,000 hope sacks filled with mental health resources. And then Rogers State University, and now other school districts are considering it. In those, we do not have our faith base because they're not allowed to do that, but we have our suicide prevention stickers. We have suicide hotline information, how to recognize the signs of a suicidal person, how to recognize if you might be struggling with suicidal intent. And so these are things that can save a life.
Right. And I love it that you've got the hotline. You've got the
Yes.
988 hotline.
Oh my goodness.
And what is that?
Okay. So under President Trump, there was a law. It's actually, I believe, a law now. It's been mandated that the Federal Communication Department must have that suicide hotline, which, by the way, is so hard to remember. Do you know the suicide hotline?
I don't.
Okay, well, I don't either. I have to remember. I have to go back in my pictures and go, okay, it's 1-800-272, I think, 3533.
Oh, wow.
And this is what I do all day, every day. It's so hard to remember. And maybe as I get older, it's becoming harder. So they wanted to have a number that would be so much easier to remember. I think all of us remember, if you have an emergency, what are you going to call? 911, right? So the 988 is huge for saving lives. And what our desire is, we have a award-winning artist that designed these stickers that say your life matters, you are worth saving. And it has the 988 number on it. And as soon as that it's already been passed. They have till 2022. It's a huge thing to get that changed around the nation. Because if you call that 1-800 number here in Oklahoma, they're going to patch you through to COPES, which is a local organization. So if you can imagine on a national level, how many organizations they have to change that number and change all the printing. So it takes time. It's been passed into law. It's going to happen, but they have till 2022 to do it. That's a year away. We are going to be ready. And I want a force of people to distribute these throughout. I'm hoping and praying and believing that these will be in schools, maybe on lockers, maybe they went out in every hope sack that the students at Oklahoma State got, and people saw them on people's doors.
I love
it didn't have the 988 number because it's not passed yet. But I'm like, okay, that could have saved a life right there, is the way I look at it.
That is so awesome. You know, when you're sitting here talking, I just felt the Lord saying to my spirit, there's so many people out there that are sitting on their dream. You were talking about this.
Yes.
That God has planted a dream in them. They've walked through a really difficult situation, and they're kind of in this holding pattern, maybe even feeling a little broken and purposeless.
Yes.
And I have watched God literally take your ministry from such a small seed, and it is going nationally. And I just felt like that you would be an awesome person to encourage those out there that are feeling a little bit broken with no purpose. And I want to do this. I want to work. How do you encourage someone? Because I really feel like that God is moving quickly to let people get into their calling.
I believe that because we are in a difficult time. This has been a very dark time, and there are so many people struggling in so many different areas. And so one of my favorite phrases is, the darker the darkness, the brighter the light.
I love
and I
that.
believe that God wants us to get out there and share our light. And so when people do ask me and they do, what do I do? Can I do this in my town? I, first of all, always cheer them on, because that was one thing I realized I didn't have. Where I was when I had this dream, it wasn't that they were not good people. It wasn't that, but they had their own dreams and they did not have the energy for my dreams. I was really not allowing myself to be surrounded by people that would go, Linda, you can do this. God has big things he can do through you. I wasn't in that environment. So the first thing I do is encourage people, make sure you're surrounded. Like you talked about, your inner circle must be those that cheer you on. And I have an accountability partner, a prayer partner that cheers me on, prays for me.
Absolutely.
What we're doing is can be heavy and
Yes,
dark.
absolutely.
I have to lay it, every one of these people I have to lay at God's feet. When I leave here, I'm leaving to give a hope box to someone that just lost a loved one to suicide. They're coming to my home to get it. And my heart breaks every week, usually every day, from stories I hear. I have to lay it at God's feet.
Right.
And then I have to surround myself with people that share in the vision, or at least cheer me on and believe and pray for me and encourage me. And, do the warfare that needs to be done.
That is key, because it can be so heavy.
It's heavy.
And it can take you down.
Yes.
If you don't have that support system.
And then I would say also to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. People talk a lot about self-care. For me,
absolutely,
it's hiking, it's getting out in nature. It's,
yes. Mine is dogs.
I love it. I love it. Therapeutic. Therapy.
They are. And God even used the dogs for therapy dogs to help others and help these kids.
Yes.
And we've even been to a family that was dealing with suicide. So God hears your heart's desires. Here's your dreams. Delight yourself in the Lord. Yes. He hears He
gives you the desires of your heart and does above and beyond all that we can
absolutely. So what would you tell someone who might be sitting out there right now who needs some hope?
I would tell them that hope is there, that if you can believe in your heart that we have a God who loves us so much, that he is never going to leave our side. If everyone else abandons you, I have felt abandoned in my lifetime. And I have realized God is my Father. He will never abandon me. So if they can believe in their heart that God will never abandon them, that he will walk with them through any fire, bring them through the fire, and that everything will be made right in time, if not in this world, then in the next, that will be a life-saving force in their life. And I would also say to them, so hold on to God. They can go to our website, hopeisoxygen.org. Everything we have, we give away.
And we will list all of this on the website.
And then I would say, hold on to God. Know that he's with you. He'll never leave your side. He will bring you through it. And believe that in your heart. He's going to stitch your heart back together. Reach out for help. Reach out for help. Help is a phone call away.
Yes, amen. I would love to end this talk in prayer, just with a little quick prayer. I just feel like there's someone out there that's probably feeling hopeless or feeling like they want to just walk out that dream. So let's just end in prayer. Lord, I just thank you so much for Linda, for this ministry. Lord, I thank you for hope. I thank you that you are hope. And Lord, I know that there's someone out there that right now is just kind of hanging on by a thread. Our extreme is your opportunity to work a miracle. And Father, I pray that you would meet the hurting people and those that are feeling lost right in the area of their need. Love on them, carry them, lift them up. And Lord, for the ones that are feeling like their dreams are just broken, Lord, I pray that they will search for treasure in the dark, dark place, and that you will reveal to them that beautiful treasure that you have waiting. And Father, in their brokenness, I pray that you will truly show them that you were not inconveniencing them. You were divinely saving them. And Father, I just pray for miracles in the lives of those, and answered prayers for those that are praying, and give them hope. Father, thank you for Linda. I pray blessing over Hope is Oxygen. And I pray that this ministry would literally explode in ways that only you can, because your handprints are on it all. Thank you so much, Lord. And we just give you this day, and may it be blessed beyond measure in your name.
Yes.
Amen.
Thank you.
I'm so thankful
Thank
that
you.
you
So
were
happy to
here
be here.
with me. And if you have any questions at all about Hope is Oxygen, if you are walking through a dark place or you know someone who is, we're going to list every link and
Awesome.
all of the information right on the website. And make sure that you go and like our page, that you subscribe to our YouTube. And if you haven't watched the previous sessions, go look at them, because we're going to be here next month too. Thanks for
Awesome.
joining us.
Thank you.
Have a great day,
Thank
and we'll
you.
see you next time at Treasure Talks. Thank you for joining us at Treasure Talks. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date with the latest videos. You will not want to miss out. If you'd like more information on the growing projects of Lisa Bain Ministries and how we're helping the community, please visit us at lisabain.com.